Hi, welcome to another episode of Hot Takes. Gillian Martin, the mentally ill, mad, net zero, closet crypto green of the SNP, has been accused of, quote, misleading Holyrood with out-of-date figures as to the true cost of wind farms, the sort of building and operation of them. Now, by using the word misleading, which is how it's been described, that's parliamentary speak, political speak for lying through her teeth. And basically, she's been quoting numbers that are many years out of date in the hope of saying, hey, look, they only cost this much. And yet, hey, when they come to show how much they're generating, they're using the latest figures to show it's a really good value for money. However, it turns out that that's not entirely, or indeed remotely, true. Dearie me. They're sticking all their eggs in one basket over renewables. Only it's now a matter of fact, that the renewables they're doing are actually costing way, way, way more than ever they thought. For a start, they don't even own the offshore ones, foreign companies do. And so although they're getting the energy from it, they're having to buy that energy. Now this is weird. This was Scotland's waters. And they've sold them off cheap, and announced that they wouldn't allow anyone to pay more than X for them, even though in an auction you try and get as much as you could, but that's not the way they've done it. And I'm going to tell you why in a moment. So they maximum priced out on what they were going to cost. They then paid to build them, and then they gave them to foreign countries who then generate electricity when the wind blows. And so they get this electricity, which they're then paying for at a slightly subsidised price. However, when the wind ain't blowing and they have to turn them, and there's no generation, they still have to pay as though the wind was blowing. And when the wind blows too much and they have to turn them off, the people of Scotland are still having to pay these foreign countries because the wind's too strong, because you've got to pay for those whether they're working or not. Now, why is this a case? Now, I can't say it's true, but I got my suspicions that there's a deal done with all the senior people in the SNP that when they all resign, which they're all doing en masse now, there'll be a whole load of non-executive directorships up for grabs with all these foreign energy companies, and all these people will be off and earning £100,000 here, £250,000 there for, looking away when all this backshish deals were done and lifting all this public money into these foreign countries and foreign companies. And, it's a massive payoff. It's payola. It's a payday scam. There's that. And so that's all been hidden. You don't know the price of that. And then the onshore ones cost way more as well, because you have to buy the land. And then the actual amount of work that goes in on the base of these things is immense and immensely damaging, and removes so much land from productive use, which they don't include in the figures. They don't tell you how much the cost of the productive land is. There's no opportunity cost factored in, because if there was, it would mean that you would never, ever get your money back on these windmills. They will never pay for themselves. It's literally impossible, because every year they're running, you're still losing that opportunity cost of, say, having sheep grazing on that land or whatever. They are not telling you the true cost of the maintenance. They're not telling you the true cost, and again, they're not working when their wind's not blowing and still having to pay. They're not telling you the true cost of the materials through its line, in terms of more energy goes into building them than they will ever generate in their working lives. Nobody tells you this. It's all lies, and it's all subsidised, and it's public taxpayers subsidising these companies who are growing fat and rich on it, with a lot of backhanders undoubtedly, in my opinion. But basically this charge for net zero that they have, which cannot, of course, happen. Anyone with a basic understanding of simple physics can tell you it won't happen. It's all lies, and yet the con goes on, despite them being found out many times. Well, it's going to cost way, way more than you think. Here's the thing. All the renewables, all the wind farms and everything in Scotland entirely equal the output of one nuclear reactor. And a nuclear reactor costs about a third of the price. Now, by my reckoning, for the same amount of money as an unreliable renewable source, you can have 3 nuclear reactors, much smaller, not destroying huge swathes of Scotland's beautiful countryside, and 24-hour a day reliable energy. Not, oh look, wind's not blowing, we'll have to burn some oil. None of that rubbish. And of course, owned by the country, not a foreign company, so the money's kept in, and it creates a lot more jobs, a lot more highly paid technical jobs. You see how this works, don't you? And you have to ask why the Scottish Government is so keen to avoid nuclear and keep pushing big foreign-owned windmills. Then ask yourself, what are these people going to do when they leave Parliament? Now, there's a whole bunch of them. It's going to be 25 of them. I mean, the whole of the Sturgeon era lot are all going to be gone very soon. Let's look to see what jobs they take up, what directorships they are awarded once they leave office. And I will guarantee that a lot of them will end up working as a director here or, an advisor there, something like that, a co-conspirator somewhere else. And it'll all be foreign energy companies. You won't have heard the names because they're all buried 15 layers deep. Companies owning companies which are partly owned by a shell company in the Cayman Isles and so on. It's all very intrinsic and web-like. But ultimately, that is what happens. And that's where taxpayer money goes. And you get for it sod all. 3 nukes, get rid of all the wind farms, reliable energy, and nobody is paying vast amounts of backhanders and dodgy deals to foreign companies just to support crooked politicians in their dotage retirements. And it's there. It sounds like a conspiracy, but you can see it with your own eyes what's happening. Nobody should be fooled by this. Now, it's also much cheaper to produce energy by nuke than by wind farm. And they ain't telling you that either. In fact, wind and renewable is so expensive, they have to add a surcharge on your electricity bill to help pay for it. If it was done purely on a for-profit basis, they'd make a loss. Well, they're hardly a surprise, is it? Let me know what you think. Till next time, stay safe, stay well, and I will speak, as always, with you later. Bye.